Chairman, thank you. Mr. DeJoy, thank you for your service. From what I've heard so far today, apparently the post office never had any issues. There was never any delays. There was never any mail that was late. There were never any financial problems. There was never any challenge to mail-in votings until 65 days ago when you arrived. And then apparently all chaos has broken out in the post office in the last 2 months. But before that, there seemed to be no complaint about the post office ever. So I do want to thank you for your service. I want to thank the men and women that are around the country that do a remarkable job every day. Those folks in the unions, those folks that are taking care of us and getting things out, getting medicine, taking care of first class mail, taking care of all those things. So I appreciate your service. I appreciate the fact that you have stepped up to be able to help lead an organization that desperately needs some help, that Congress has for 2 decades pounded on postmasters on why they are not doing reforms and why we haven't found more efficiencies. You've stepped into this role and have taken looks like the work from the Inspector General, the work from the Regulatory Commission, and have said, let's start implementing some of these things. And now Congress seems to be shifting from beating up on postmasters for not doing work to now beating up on you for actually doing the work. So I do want to say thanks for stepping up and taking the risk to actually take this on. So I do want to run through several questions. Some of them have not been addressed yet. There was a series of stories that came out and a trending on social media that you were locking up the post boxes in Burbank to prevent people from voting. Were you locking up the boxes in Burbank to keep people from voting?
Senator, the stories that I have heard of my ability and the places I'm able to get to in the same day are just remarkable. So no, I'm not locking up any. I would have nothing to do with collection boxes.
So you mentioned earlier that it's been 35,000 of the blue boxes that have been retired over the past 10 years. So apparently any blue boxes that have been retired over the past 10 years are your responsibility over the last 65 days. You had mentioned before about some of the blue boxes being retired. Are they still going to be retired between now and the election, or will they be retired in the future?
Now, my commitment to the committee and the leadership and the American people is we stopped. We have the day I put the statement out, we directed everybody to stop reducing postal hours, stop bringing back collection boxes, stop shutting down machines, and that was basically what we did. So from now until the election, yes.
Yeah, you stopped that until the election. Will that pick back up after the election? Because one of the issues that you brought up before was about the sorting machines. Some of these sorting machines are older. Some of the sorting machines are not needed anymore. Will that just stop forever? What I'm trying to figure out is, are we still going to work on trying to build in efficiencies in the post office? This has been an issue for a long time to try to get us back into balance.
Senator, right now, thank you for the opportunity. Right now, the legislation is that we deliver to 161 million addresses 6 days a week. I'm committed to that. I believe that's the strength of the Postal Service. And that we be self-sustaining. Those are the 2 pieces of legislation that I'm working towards. We are not self-sustained. We have a $10 billion shortfall, and we'll continue to have, over the next 10 years, we'll have a $245 billion shortfall. So we need to, and our management team and our board there is a path that we are planning. Okay, with the help of some legislation, with some cost impacts, with some new revenue strategies, and that will help and some pricing freedom from the PRC. We believe we have a plan to do that. But one thing that's not in the plan is not doing anything after the election. It is an ambitious plan because we have $10 billion to bridge. Now, the plan has not been finalized. We have hundreds of initiatives we look like take the Alaska bypass plan, the discussion, that's an item on the table. That's an unfunded mandate. It costs us like $500 million a year. And if I'm not saying what I asked for is all the unfunded mandates, right? That's a way for us to get healthy, pay something for the unfunded mandates. If we just throw $25 billion at us this year, and we don't do anything, we'll be back in 2 years. Then maybe we should change the legislation and not make us be self-sustaining. But as a leadership team and a board, that's what our mission is, to be self-sustaining and deliver at a high level of precision. And I'm committed to both. I'm committed to both. And I think both can be done with a little help from the Congress and from the Postal Regulatory Commission.
Well, Congress has been unwilling to be able to act on this for a very long time. It's been over a decade. Congress has discussed any kind of reforms in the post office, but it always seems to boil down to, will that change distribution areas that may or may not be needed in a state that I live in, or will it change any other post office structure that I'm familiar with? And if it changes my area, then I want to be able to block it. And so it has been a great challenge. I've also heard from multiple folks saying the post office has now so severely cut that they can't meet the capacity to actually get ballots out. And folks in rural areas and folks in urban areas, will they be able to get ballots out? I've seen your letter. That was the same as the letter in 2016 the post office sent out saying, hey, be advised, states, you need to send things out early. That's helpful. Thanks for actually doing that. And you shouldn't be criticized for that. You should be encouraged to be able to do that. But my question is, folks have challenged me and said there's not going to be enough capacity for elections. Will you have enough capacity again for Christmas and for Mother's Day? Because my understanding is Christmas and Mother's Day are the biggest capacity times for first-class mail. Do you have capacity now for Christmas and Mother's Day?
So yes, we have capacity for Christmas and Mother's Day. So
I actually went back and looked last year, the week of December the 16th, the post office delivered 2.5 billion pieces of first-class mail just that 1 week of December the 16th of last year. That's a pretty remarkable feat to get 2.5 billion pieces of first-class mail delivered in one single week. So you know right now you have enough capacity to be able to handle the elections without slowing it down.
Yes, sir, and it's more than that. Besides just the capacity, the intent, the extra activities that the whole organization is going through between our postal union leaders, our board, the executive management team here, we are focused on, besides just having the capacity to execute, to react to whatever conditions exist at that particular point in time, up to and including the pandemic, which likely will still be having some impacts. So I think the American people can feel comfortable that the Postal Service will deliver on this election.
Thank you.